Part 26 of Oak Trees Could Talk. Welcome and thank you for visiting my blog. This will be my last video blog of If Oak Trees Could Talk for the year, as Christmas is next week, and then wow, the ringing in of a brand new year. I wish every one of you the happiest and healthiest new year ever. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful part of this year for me. I'm excited about the year to come, as I've been working on several new book projects and can hardly wait to go forward with them. I hope that you will continue to join me and come along for the ride. Today we begin reading in a brand new chapter, 14, The Family Gathering. Chapter 14, The Family Gathering. Amelia sighed with dread of the very thought of her parents going back into Glenview's home for the elderly. Even though she knew that they had really thought about everything and made the decision for themselves, it would not be easy, but she would drive them both back in the morning. She had no idea what Mr. Hodges had planned for her parents upon their return. Henry had explained to her that it was Mr. Hodges who had told him about her mother's early release in the first place. Surely, as the head of Glenview, Mr. Hodges should have known the reason that her father had come to be at Glenview's home for the elderly to begin with. The thoughts of Mr. Hodges telling her daddy about her mama just did not sit well with Amelia, but again she would honor her parents' wishes. She helped her parents rise from the picnic blanket to their feet. Between her and Robert, they helped walk both Henry and Helen up the long front lawn to the house. She sent the boys down to get all of the picnic supplies. Amelia waited until they came into the house before making the announcement that she was driving her parents back to Glenview the following morning. Although both of the boys were very crushed and upset, they pretended all was well. Through everything, the boys had become brave and strong young men. Their grandparents' house felt like home again just because Henry and Helen were there. It didn't matter that they were down at the oak tree having their own private picnic the whole time. The boys still found comfort in knowing that they were on the property. Amelia kissed Robert and the boys good night as she stayed with her parents through the night. She checked on them several times by peeking through their bedroom door, which she was very cautious to do considering the most recent romantic encounters that her parents had while at Glenview. When Amelia peeked in, she saw two beautiful parents cuddled together, sleeping safe and sound in their bed. It was a precious sight to behold. This was an image that Amelia would carry with her to help her focus on getting them back home permanently once they were back at Glenview. The morning came way too soon. Amelia had not slept but a little while before the sun came up. The first thing she felt she needed to do was to talk with the sheriff. However, it was as though the morning was ordered with all of the most wonderful things that a summer day would hold. She postponed her plans just briefly to take in a wonderful day. Amelia found herself opening up the French doors leading to the gardens and several more windows throughout the beautiful house. She felt she was home. The birds sang their beautiful songs of praise to the one that made them. A soft breeze blew gently through the gardens, and aromatic scents of lilac and lavender filled the air and blew through the open windows. The house was beginning to once again smell like her parents' home. Amelia thought that she was the first to arrive, but she then heard voices in the gardens. When she walked outside on the patio, her parents were down in the gardens, and her mother was carrying a beautiful bouquet of fresh-cut flowers in her hand. Amelia also watched as her daddy, who was fully dressed, placed a beautiful flower in her mother's free-flowing hair. As they meandered through the gardens, holding hands, laughing and talking, Amelia knew without doubt that this was what they needed. Her parents needed one another. Henry and Helen also needed their family, their home, and even their beautiful gardens to get well. While watching her parents' behavior since being home, Amelia resolved at that moment to bring them home regardless of the consequence. She turned from such a beautiful picture of her parents in the garden to go back into the house. Her parents had decided to go back to Glenview, and Amelia would honor their wishes and take them. However, before she took them back, she was determined to make it clear to Mr. Hodges that it was a temporary arrangement this time. She immediately telephoned Sheriff Eugene that her parents had chosen to return to Glenview temporarily. Amelia also informed him that she would be driving them back after they had eaten a good breakfast. She let them know that she was bringing both her parents back to their home as soon as she could, regardless if Mr. Hodges from Glenview agreed with her decision or not. Sheriff Eugene agreed to her plans and simply cautioned her that Mr. Hodges was still insisting that she be arrested for kidnapping. Thank you once again for tuning in or reading along with me. It is my hope that you have been enjoying my romance suspense novel, If Oak Trees Could Talk, for it has been my pleasure to share it with you. As always, I would love to hear from you. I want to thank all of you that have begun following my WordPress blogs. Please continue to tune in as we are about halfway through the book. If you are interested in obtaining your own copy of If Oak Trees Could Talk or any of my other books, please visit my Amazon author page. Also, if you are new to my video blogs and would like to catch up on the story from the beginning, please check out the archives in this blog or simply subscribe to my YouTube videos as they are numbered and in order. I also am a weekly contributor to the Lakeview Times. All of my videos are published each week at www.lakeviewtimes.com.